What is up, everybody? It is Luis Martinez from San Diego, California, live and direct for this 27th to 7 virtual edition of the San Diego Latino Film Festival, one of the most iconic Latinx movie-going experiences in the country. Obviously, we would love to be next to you in a theater, coughing on each other, watching movies together, eating popcorn, talking about the movies that we've seen. But the world is what it is, so we have adjusted and we are bringing the movies directly to you at no extra cost, in your own home, with your own snacks, with your friends and family, watching all the incredible Latin talent that's been around, and that I continue to discover, and that I continue to be humbled by. Today, we are talking with the filmmakers from a program that is very near and dear to my heart, which is the Frontera Filmmakers Showcase. I have the poster behind me of my movie Slapworthy that I was honored to exhibit as part of the Frontera Filmmakers Showcase a few years ago back in San Diego. And I am honored and humbled that Ethan, Moises, and Juan are allowing me to do a QA with this group of filmmakers from this year. So I'm going to bring them all onto the stage right now. It's going to be a crowded house, but we're going to get to all their movies because it's the late night Q&A, which means we can go as long as we want. So let me get these guys going, all right? We got Diego Hernández. How you doing? ¿Cómo estás, Diego?
Hola, bien aquí.
Un saludo. ¿De dónde estás hoy?
En Tijuana.
En Tijuana, aquí cerquita, bueno, de la frontera aquí. All right, and then we're going to bring in Patricia Montoya.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hola, Patricia. ¿Dónde estás hoy?
Estoy en Western Mass.
Western Massachusetts. Okay, está bien. Y colombiana también, ¿no? ¿Verdad?
Sí, exactamente.
All right, all right. Another Colombian on the stream. I always like that. All right. Hey, mi compa, Mr. Fernando A. Fisher from Film Perturbado. ¿Cómo estás, Fernando?
¿Cómo estás, Luisito? ¿Cómo estás, my friend?
¿Dónde estás? ¿Está en Tijuana o San Diego hoy?
Aquí estoy en San Diego.
All right, listo. And then let's add Miss Erin Martinez. How you doing today, Erin?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for joining us today. Where are you today?
I'm in San Diego.
All right, cool. And then we have Kevin Nostrates from 92115. How you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All right. Are you up in North County, or where are you at? Where are you joining us from today?
I'm in San Diego.
San Diego. All right. All right. And now we're bringing in Rodrigo Alvarez Flores.
Hi.
Hola, Rodrigo. How you doing
Hola.
today?
Hi.
Hola.
I'm great. Thank you.
And then Alexis Duran. ¿Cómo estás, Alexis? How you doing today, sir?
Doing very good. And yourself?
All right. I'm doing great. I'm happy to be talking film, which is one of my favorite things to do. And I'm happy to be talking about the Frontera Filmmakers Showcase. All right. Let's see who else we got here. We got Alex Hermogenes. Hola, Alex.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
Where are you joining us from today, man?
From San Diego, Tijuana, San Diego.
All right. And then we have Marlon Morales. Hey, Marlon, thanks for joining us today. All right, he's a little bit slow right now, so we'll catch up on Marlon in a second. All right, so I wanted to start off. I watched all your movies already. I have questions specifically built around each one, so I want to get a chance to you guys for you guys to talk about what it feels. But really quickly, I wanted to see what you guys felt when you were accepted into the film festival. Some of this might be old hat for some of you. Diego, ¿cómo te sentiste cuando te diste cuenta que tu película había sido aceptada para ser parte de este festival?
Pues fue una gran sorpresa porque como lo fuimos manejando la cuestión de los festivales, fue en un inicio sí estaba como muy enterado de a qué festival iba y a cuál metíamos inscripción, pero pues conforme fue pasando el tiempo me fui ocupando en otras cosas y la productora encargada de hacer el envío a festivales, Melissa Castañeda, tenía como una lista con todos los festivales y yo dejé de revisarla con el tiempo como por diferentes cuestiones y fue una gran sorpresa ver que íbamos a poder estar aquí, que iba a ser el estreno, me parece. Iba a ser, sí, de haber sido realizado presencialmente a inicios de año. Entonces, muy contento de estar aquí.
Yeah, it's very important to be able to watch your films in front of a live audience. And obviously, you guys are all from the area, obviously, of the Frontera. So you guys are probably more affected than even the people that were gonna possibly come see the festival from like Chile, Peru, de vienen de otras partes. You know, but I think that this is not necessarily the same thing, but it is something that at least can bring us together as filmmakers, right? Fernando, how do you? I mean, I know you've been to the festival for Fernando, but you know, how do you feel that it's different from the in-person experience for you?
Well, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different, but at the same time, I think that we can reach more audiences this way. I feel that you can just, see everything that you can in the comfort of your home. Whatever snacks you want, whatever people you want with, and it's different. But you still miss that experience of seeing your film like it's supposed to be seen in the big screen, and hearing the audience's reactions of your film. That's greatly missed. But hey, we gotta do best with what we have, right?
Absolutely. I wanted to talk with Alexis about your film By Luna. I read a little bit about the process, about when it came to you to write it and the point in your life that you were at. It seemed very similar to me, like when a songwriter or like the Beatles or somebody will be interviewed and they'll ask them, how long did it take you to write that song? And they're like, oh, I wrote that song in 5-10 minutes. It seemed like a very organic sort of process. Can you elaborate a little bit about what your mind was at when you sort of wanted to take those two separate elements and put them into a story?
Yeah, so it's a very short script. It's only the film is only 4 minutes. The script was 4 pages, and there's been times where I have pulled over from driving, or I didn't go to bed right away, and I wrote a little short scene or a line of dialogue. But this was the first time that I woke up around 1-2 in the morning, and I felt this urgency to write this, and I've never experienced that before. That I was able to finish it in a few hours, and part of that kind of energy, that push, was for a festival that was happening at San Diego State that also I think kind of helped, kind of push me to write this. And as far as where I was at personally with my former partner, she has a kid, and we were trying to teach her to start speaking Spanish a bit more. And I've never experienced this in my life, but of course, because of this political climate currently, whenever we would speak with her child in Spanish out in public, I felt this tension that I've never felt before. And I had this fear of having somebody intervene physically, verbally, and that's where that really originated, this fear. I've never experienced that before to that degree. And because I would be with my partner and her daughter, I think it added to that as well.
And then you bring this other element of being attached to a child that might not be in your life, for that you don't have a guarantee that's going to be in your life, right? And I think Jose, when I talked to him about it, brought a lot of depth to being able to get that point across in a very, like you said, a short amount of time. What was it like working with somebody that that I consider somebody kind of iconic in this region?
It was very nice. And I got to give a big thank you to Carlos Solorio, because I initially called him, and he's the father of Amani, who plays Luna in the film. And I said, Carlos, I know you're not an actor, but I think you can pull this off. And he was considering it. And he said, I have a friend who's going to be in town. And that's how that happened. But when I got to work with Jose, and I didn't know him by name, but once I Googled him, I was like, oh, I know exactly who he is. traffic, obviously. And so I was very excited.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia. We can't forget.
Yeah. And credit to Jose, because I felt very relaxed when we spoke over the phone. I felt very comfortable, and I think he put me at ease. And, I think that was the first time I've worked with an actor at that caliber. And I realized, okay, this is what it means to work with somebody who has training and or this experience. And that's where the whole casting, the magic happens, where they say it's 80% of the job, 90% of the job is done when you cast the right person. And it was very effortless working with him. So it was nice reaching that level of craftsmanship. And I seek to work with serious actors. And so after that, I've been trying to seek the right cast, the right actors. So
when you were working with somebody of that caliber, do you ever second guess yourself when you're giving direction? Like you're basically trying to tell, Joe Montana how to throw a football, right? At that point, do you sort of like check yourself in essence?
I'm not sure if I was nervous or self-conscious about that. I think I was just nervous of the overall production, as I think a lot of us tend to be before. But I think once the day of, it all goes out the window and you're so immersed and focused that I didn't even think about the people he's worked with and all the productions. And I was just so focused in the story and collaborating. And after it, I was like, oh, wow, that was really nice. And so it's always in the middle of it. I forget about everything. But it's before the filming.
It was a very simple but also very deep and meaningful film, in my opinion. So I give you kudos for that. We have the president of the Erin Martinez fan club watching. So Anthony Grimm, thank you for watching. Erin, another Martinez in the house. Your film. When did you shoot Alone Together?
So we shot Alone Together at the beginning of 2018. And we shot it in a million locations over the course of 3 days. It was a crazy experience.
Obviously, everybody was kind of freaking out a little bit a few months ago when that Nike commercial came out. I don't know if you guys saw it, where they had the two different sort of images side by side that were edited together. So you might have a lawsuit because they might have gotten that idea from you. But I almost felt like Pavlov's dog midway through that movie, because you kept ringing that bell, and I was sort of pacing the beats of the movie. The music and the sound effects play a huge role in kind of the feelings that you elicit in it. What percentage of your time did you spend sort of plotting that out, or did the pacing and the music come first as an idea, or did you add that? Did that add another element when you were in post-production?
When I was writing the film, I was trying to think of the best way to make this film and have it flow and not seem super long and dense. And the best way to do that was kind of to use it as a montage form and have it with as little dialogue as possible. So the music became like a really big part of that. And my editor, who I guess is the president of the Erin Martinez fan club, he pretty much composed most of the film himself, which is crazy because that's the first film he's ever composed before, just because we couldn't find any music that we really liked and we had a composer do part of it, and then he did the rest of it. So it was kind of just the way we brought the film to keep it going was with the beats of the music. But it became a really important part of the film, and we didn't realize it was going to be such an important part that drove the film to the end.
And not only is the president available, but apparently the #1 fan is also here. So we got the president of the Airman, and then we have our #1 fan is here. All right. Tengo que hablar con mi familia colombiana aquí, Patricia. Your film, obviously, it's got a lot of it's almost a mixture of very dramatic and very artistic, coming together. Like it's almost like an art drama, I would say, something like that. It's also a very important sort of story to tell. Where did the genesis of that idea come from? Is that from an event? where did that start for you?
First of all, thank you for inviting me to be here. The film is inspired or is based on a play, so that's why the dramatic element comes from a theatrical piece. I in my previous work, or the work I've been doing for a while, is adapting theater into movies, right? So, and to maintain as much as possible the theatrical language in film. So I liked it because of that, right? I didn't mean to make it like an overly dramatic, but very theatrical it is. And so the mixture of of theater and documentary, right? So those two, so it's very realistic on one end and also very not realistic on the other. And that's kind of the blend that I am looking for. Yeah. So yeah, you were very good at observing that. Yeah, so it's based on a play by an Argentinian playwright, a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, Gil Labona. And, but of course, I take parts of it or not. I mean, it's an adaptation, yeah.
All right. Let me catch up with some comments here. We have Eduardo Trejo says, saludos a todos. Thank you for watching, Eduardo. Saludos. We have Chinchilas Olaís. Bravo Tijuana, Fernando Fisher. Doghouse.
Cool.
And let's see, we also have Provi T. Fisher. Felicidades. All right, he says also. All right. We got a clapping heart, and we have so proud of you guys. Excellent. All right. I'm sorry, I can't see you guys' name here since I've Let's talk with Fernando. Obviously, Tijuana, right across the river, representing majorly in this festival, and this is basically a tailor-made. I think that San Diego Latino Film Festival is very unique in the fact that it does take into consideration the local filmmakers. I don't know if I would have been able to be in this festival if it wasn't have been for the Frontera Filmmakers Showcase, just basically film here locally. How does being accepted into your local film festival, Fernando, and I'm asking him because he's been accepted into like 80 festivals with all his movies. But how is it different from being accepted into like a foreign festival that is sort of accepting of your work versus your local festival?
Well, it's basically your home. San Diego Latino Film Festival has always treated us right. I mean, Moises, Ethan, Juan, they all treat us very, very well. And as whenever I get accepted into San Diego Latino Film Festival, I feel like I'm at home. Obviously I'm from Tijuana, and just crossing the border and coming over here and seeing your theaters and AMCs and all that stuff is a really great experience. And I feel at home. There's a very lovable place here in San Diego that I like a lot, from the other places that you go into other film festivals that you can probably won't go. Like, for example, one of the first film festivals we got accepted was in India, and obviously I couldn't go to India, but here in San Diego, it's like, hey, you just crossed the border and you're here, and it's awesome. San Diego Latino Film Festival is one of my favorite film festivals to come into, because all the attention that they give to you, you have your local family, your local friends coming to see your work. So it's awesome, man. It's awesome.
And we're happy that this is like your third time showing a film here, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Alex, your film, Volveré. It's in some ways it's a story that's been told before, but it's but you told it in a new, interesting, sort of very contained way. The last time I shot in a cemetery overnight, we had coyotes on set. What was the actual production of that like for you? Did you have any spooky stuff happen on set, or how long did that take for you to make?
Wow, I'm glad you got that. Actually, it was filmed on the Dia de los Muertos. So can you imagine the whole magic and the whole mysticism of the celebration already? And so we were actually trying to capture that magic, that supernatural element, and we were so lucky to be able to have these amazing, talented actresses, Alicia Quiñones, Gisela Madrigal, and the wonderful, amazing Pita Sapor, the amazing, fantastic dancer as La Muerte. And to answer your question, it was actually a very organic experience to film on the Dia de los Muertos on the cemetery in Tijuana, and then in Mexicali too, because we actually filmed it over 2 years. And then,
Wow.
So yeah, it was very organic. And there was actually, I don't know if you noticed, but the scene where Alicia is spraying in the capilla, in la capilla, there were dogs actually barking, because all the movement that we were taking, and all that stuff that was going on the cemetery. There were actually the magic, the supernatural element that we added it, and we actually felt it. Everybody felt that, we actually, at the beginning of the shooting session, we actually pray and have a nice rounded circle to actually ask permission to the dead ones, because we were actually going to film on the Dia de los Muertos, and it was such a great experience. I don't know if you noticed, but there's actually a person, a little shadow there that we don't know where it came. We were like, wait a minute, what the fuck was that? Did we actually saw that? And then we were asking each other, where did this person came from? And then we never saw that person again. So definitely there's some kind of magic, some kind of supernatural element added, and so we're so happy.
Yeah, as an independent filmmaker, we are always dealing with a lot of stuff that normally other productions would do on their own. But for something like that, I would definitely hand those tasks off to a production or a site manager to handle that, location manager to handle that for me. I'm not getting involved with any creepy spirits. Speaking of like spirits and spooky. And something like dark and moody. Marlon, tell us a little bit about what your movie. It's the most sort of, I think, like, I don't know if avant-garde is the right word, but it's something very, there's something very poetic about it. What was the thought process behind the aesthetic of the film for you? You're muted. I think you might be muted. I think you're still muted, buddy.
Maybe your microphone, your thing.
Hello. I don't know. We'll keep going. Just if you get it figured out, just keep trying it and just interrupt us, and we'll get to you, Marlon. Now, you got connection issues. Now he's having sound issues. It's like every independent film set ever. So as soon as you get your sound back, just chime in and we'll get you back in the mix. Let's move on to I'm sorry, give me a second here. To Kevin. My first question to you, which I promised somebody I would ask, is what was it like working with Mark Atkinson? the stud of San Diego film.
Yeah, he's a funny dude. And I thought he was a great producer as well. He organized things very well, and he had craft services well stocked. So yeah, he was fun to work with. He's good at improvising in scenes, and he can come up with funny stuff on the fly. So yeah, it was a lot of fun working with him.
Yeah, I work with him a lot, and he's a fun guy to work with. Very funny dude. But the movie itself, it reads like a personal experience. Is that something that was part of your life? Where did you come up with this story? Where did it start in your brain?
Well, actually, we adapted the story from another writer. His name is forgetting his name right now, but he wrote the story, and Ryan Bradford is his name, and he wrote it. It's based on his personal experience, and me and Mark were in a workshop together, a short film workshop put on by Jody Silly of San Diego Film Consortium, and we did 2 adaptations. There were 2 groups in the class. Me and Mark were in one group, and Jody really wanted that story to be adapted and made into a film. I think she's loved that story for a long time, so we ended up adapting it, and I was chosen to be the director. So that's why we made it. It wasn't necessarily like my choice or anything. I just went along with it. And, it was fun, though.
Are you saying it was just a job?
I mean, kind of, but even jobs can be fun. If you can.
If you could pick any job on set, which one would it be? If you don't want to direct, do you prefer to write? Do you prefer to act? What is the part of filmmaking that you're more passionate about?
No, I mean, actually, it is directing.
Okay.
That is. I mean, it wasn't necessarily my passion project. It was what I mean, but
okay.
Yeah, I feel like I have a gift for direction for sure. Like if you hand me a script, I feel like I can do a good job with it. Like I can
make it happen.
I can visualize things very well. Yeah. So
excellent. All right, let's check in with Marlon. How you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. There you go.
Oh,
okay.
Hi.
Now, Marlon, did you make a conscious choice to color correct your camera so that you would be in black and white today? Because you're like, does everything have to be black and white? Or just tell us a little bit about your film. The aesthetic decisions that you made for it.
Yeah, so I was watching a lot of Japanese 60s and 50s films. So there's this movie, like Onibaba it's called, and it's a very stylish and atmospheric movie. And we wanted to reproduce all that, and the black and white came in organic with the decision.
I think there's a point for every filmmaker where you just sort of just lay that black and white thing over your film, and just like you just think about it.
In black and white.
No, you filmed in black and white. Oh yeah, so you made that the same. But I'm saying normally as a filmmaker, when you have a project, everybody takes that one moment where they're like, oh, let me see how this would look in black and white.
I know. Quick, Even Parasite right now is in black and white.
Oh yeah, is that true?
Yeah.
And other than the Japanese inspired film, what was the process like? I mean, it's written and directed by, that always sort of signifies that it's that it's not necessarily a personal, but something that's important to you. Is there a particular reason that you decided to put all your effort into that?
Yeah, well, what I try is to make every project like the total opposite of the past one that I did. So the past one that I did was very kind of colorful and dynamic, and we wanted to make like the total opposite, and it was consciously black and white. So
okay. Excellent. All right. Now, Rodrigo Alvarez, your film is, I think, the most I want to say action-packed of the bunch, maybe Perturbado as well. But there's definitely a weird dynamic, like a brother dynamic there that's sort of mixed with a very, seems like a very local story. For you, what was the beginning of making this film like for you? When did you start it, and kind of how involved were you in all the aspects of like the look, the feel of the film? Are you there, Rodrigo? Rodrigo, are you there?
Yes, I think I missed the last part. Yes,
no, I was saying,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just said it feels like a very local, like a very real story, like
now?
something. Yeah, we can definitely hear you. Can you hear us? All right, we're gonna come back to Rodrigo in a second.
There's a little delay.
Okay, make sure that if you guys are on, you don't have the stream on anywhere else in another tab or something.
Oh, there's like a delay.
Yeah. There's a delay. So let me just recap. Make sure everybody knows the San Diego Film Festival, Frontera Filmmakers Showcase. Everybody here has a film. I want to get back to Diego real quick. Diego, uno de mis estilos favoritos de cine es el estilo mumblecore de los años 90 y los early 2000s. Y yo no sabía que existía el mumblecore latino o mexicano, como le vamos a llamar. Y son películas que son así muy meta, muy como extrañas, o sea, hasta tienes un cut en vivo en parte de tu corte final. Hábleme un poquito de ese estilo de cine y qué es lo que te atrae a él.
Hola, gracias. Sí, pues yo tampoco sabía que había mumblecore tijuanense porque no conocía ese género. De hecho, fue hasta después que le empecé a mostrar el cortometraje a varios conocidos. Me dijeron, oh, esta madre se parece como a cosas que hacen Baumbach y esta gente de Estados Unidos. Y yo, oh, pues la verdad no lo había visto y estuvo interesante encontrar como diálogo con estas otras películas que no conocía y sí encontraba como ciertas similitudes.
Entonces,
y con respecto a las... ¿Sí?
Sí, sigue.
Ah, ok, con respecto a las cuestiones como de lo meta y estas cuestiones, creo que el cortometraje en sí nació en una época en la que yo estaba leyendo mucho con respecto a el cine en sí, ¿no? Las implicaciones de hacer cine, las implicaciones éticas y políticas de hacer cine, ¿no? Entonces yo antes estaba como reflexionando mucho en esas cuestiones y quería, antes de hacer un cortometraje o cualquier otra cosa, en el que haya un acercamiento más inclinado hacia lo emocional o hacia un desarrollo de personajes o contar una historia, digamos, con una dramática más tradicional, quería simplemente como vaciar todas estas ideas que tenía en un cortometraje en sí, ¿no? Que fue de lo que resultó
I was
siendo
asking
Vicario.
Diego because mumblecore is one of the very stylistic, like late 90s, early 2000s, like you said, Noah Baumbach, a bunch of other directors, where it's just sort of very real, sometimes non-professional actors, a lot of improvised dialogue, a lot of really cool stuff. And apparently Diego was doing mumblecore before he knew what mumblecore was, which is anything because that's what they say about our early movies, that it's very similar to that. So I right away I'm very appreciative of that. I think Rodrigo's back. Let me see if we can get him. Are you there, Rodrigo? Let's wait a couple of seconds for him. Okay, Rodrigo, my question to you was about the fact that your film seems to be the most the film that seems to be set in the most sort of realistic sort of environment from what it. I mean, there's a lot of them, obviously, in the 19115, Alone Together. These are films that sort of feel very based in reality, but yours feels very, very, very specific to the region. How did you sort of come up with the concept, or where did it start for you?
Actually, the short film to the idea of making a short film or a different style was we finished our previous project titled The Other Side. Premiering it, I was talking to Alleluia, our screenwriter, that I wanted to do something more, probably more real, more realistic, and it happened. The concept of the film happened while we were filming a documentary that I was producing that is also competing at the film festival, and I'm going to confess that I was very depressed by the process of making that movie, that I needed to take it, and that's what I wanted to talk about, violence, but I wanted to also talk about, redemption and probably making different choices, probably giving characters an opportunity to make a different decision. So, yes, we need to make it gritty, probably violent, but in the end, we also wanted to give hope.
It was definitely a redemption or a correction sort of story where where it seemed like a very real decision that somebody might make under tough circumstances, but in the end, sort of having the wherewithal or the inner strength to sort of push back and get it to where it is. We have a question from the audience for Mr. Fernando Fisher. What is Fernando Fisher's next project? Can you ask him? Love his film.
Well, right now I'm actually writing my feature film. Just putting in some cool stuff into it. With all this COVID thing, sometimes you go into a rabbit hole that you're going down and down and down and down, and some of the stuff is good and some of the stuff is bad. But sometimes you don't feel like writing with this COVID thing going on. But I'm going to concentrate as much as I can, and I'm finishing up the script that I've been doing for, I want to say, like about 3 years already, which will be my first feature film. So I'm working on that right now, and it's going to be called Entre las Cuerdas. It's a drama action movie.
All right, and if you guys want to learn more about Fernando and his filmmaking process, we did like an hour and a half long interview on my own podcast, so we can check it out. Not that I'm going to ignore you on this one, Fernando, but I already know all the answers to the questions that I'm going to ask you. So, let's talk to Erin about Alone Together. When is that? It would be easy to say. Is that something? When I first started watching the movie, I thought it was going to be one of those things where it was like a meme about how men and different are different after a breakup, where I thought you were going to go with like, oh, the guy's happy at first, and then at the end of the movie, he's like sad and crying, and she's sad first, and then at the end of the movie, she was sad and crying. But you took us on a more, I think, realistic journey of a relationship. Not to get too personal, but is that something that was a story that you had inside you that you wanted to tell for a while, or how did that come about for you?
It definitely was sort of based on experience between me and some of my other filmmaking partners. I was going to San Diego State at the time, and each semester we kind of got the opportunity to make a short. And I was thinking about that one for months before, but as time moved closer to me making the short, the story kind of developed because my feelings and my experiences changed. So the film kind of became a reality based on what I was dealing with and what my partners were dealing with in real life. So it was really interesting that way.
Now, when you were casting the film, I noticed, shout out Kai, one of the actors, the pizza guy there. But when you were casting the film, did you, even though they didn't spend they did spend some time on screen together, how important was the chemistry between the actors for you, knowing that they were going to spend a lot of time off screen? Were you more interested about each one of them as individual actors, or were you more interested in how they looked together?
It definitely started off with the individual actors. We actually got lucky with one of our actors. We had a role to fill, and we were days before the shoot, and he's just one of my close friends. So I texted him and was like, can you please act in this film? And he ended up having really good chemistry with our lead actress, and it was kind of luck, really. So I'm grateful for that. But we definitely did consider chemistry when we were casting, and all the main actors knew each other. So that was great as well. So they had all worked with each other before and were comfortable with each other.
All right. And I got a general question for you guys, and if one of you guys want to take it, just raise your hand or something, or we can actually just kind of go down the list on this one. But what are some of the things that you guys as filmmakers are doing to sort of keep busy, keep creative during this downtime? Are you guys fiddling with your camera? Are you guys buying a bunch of unnecessary film equipment? Are you working on your next script? I know Fernando's working on a feature. Diego, durante este tiempo que estamos aquí encerrados, ¿cómo te estás manteniendo creativo y qué estás haciendo? ¿Comprando equipaje de cámara? ¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿Cómo la estás pasando?
Pues la verdad para mí no ha sido tan complicado porque, digo, como se puede ver en Vicario, el cine que me interesa, me sigue interesando ahorita es uno en el que no son situaciones como muy grandes ni muy distantes de cosas cotidianas, ¿no? Entonces he podido hacer varias cosas como jugando, experimentando aquí en mi casa, ¿no? De hecho, Vicario es la parte que es interior, este es el sillón de Vicario, estoy en mi casa, ¿no? Entonces, la mayoría de los proyectos que he hecho también han sido dentro de mi casa, porque tiene que ver con cómo me siento cómodo, ¿no? Es un acercamiento con situaciones y espacios que conozco y de alguna manera me gusta retratarlos.
Patricia, ¿cómo estás pasando tus días? ¿Qué es lo que te mantiene sana durante este tiempo? How are you spending your days, just trying to stay creative?
Pues yo tengo la fortuna de vivir en un lugar con mucha naturaleza, entonces es como que casi que pues estuviera como de vacaciones, llevo ya como 6 meses.
¿Dónde estás ahora?
Vivo a 3 horas de Boston, en las montañas, en un pueblo que se llama Northampton. Antes vivía en San Diego, pero vine acá a trabajar en una de las escuelas de acá, en las universidades. Entonces vivo acá ahora. Y es un lugar así como ideal para escribir, ¿no? Poetas y gente pues así de aquí de los Estados Unidos se dedicó, porque sí son bosques y ríos y lagos y montañitas. Entonces yo la estoy pasando muy bien, es como una contradicción. Entonces estoy trabajando en...
We all wish we could be taking our time in the mountains, running around, having fun. How about Alex? How's the pandemic been treating you? What's the next for you guys?
Actually, I'm gonna share that I'm also same as Fernando. I'm actually working on my next project. It will be also story based on a Mexican storytelling legend. The tradition of storytelling is actually a Mexican horror legend, one of those amazing folk tales from Mexico. And I actually been doing a lot of research, reading, watching some documentaries, because this story is going to begin where I was born in Mexico City, in 1500s, la época de la Santa Inquisición, the Holy Inquisition time, where a lot of people was sacrificed and tortured and murdered. And there was actually, while I was doing some research, I had an idea where I wanted to go, but I actually found a real person, a real story, a person that was actually burned by the Holy Inquisition in Mexico City, Okay. So that was actually the character that was waiting for me to find him. So I found it. Then after that, I live in San Diego, so my story actually moves on time 3 centuries later, kind of like one of my inspiration, Bram Stoker, Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola, the Dracula, and all those wonderful, amazing horror movies. And I've been going to actually scout in one of those real places where the story developed in San Diego Mission, Presidio Park. So it's been an amazing journey of finding myself in these actual historical sites that actually brought some kind of the magic and inspiration. And that's how I've been spending my sheltering inside time, working hard and
that's good.
Magic.
I hope that everybody here in this panel is coming out of this situation with a couple of different ideas for projects, specifically ones. Let's catch up on the comments here. Let's see what it said. But she said they're very proud of you guys. Thank you. Felicitaciones a todos desde BCAC Cine AC. We got another shout out for Fisher here. Un gran saludo para todos, en especial a Rodrigo Alvarez, es Alejandro Sotelo. Thank you for watching. Bianca Daniela sends her love. Another question for Fernando. Oh no, this is from before. Let me see what else we have. I think they keep wanting Fernando to talk about his feature, which you already know. Let's make sure we give a shout out to everybody's production company. Let's see. Follow Diego Hernández and his future projects here. That's the link for the Tijuana Mongo Poor Master. Ahí estamos. Okay, that was Jose Paredes that says, Fernando, when will you stop kidding yourself and make a feature? Soon, right? Soon, but not now. Jose Paredes.
Pretty soon.
Thank you for watching. But to follow Fernando's current movie, Perturbado, on Facebook, facebook.com/PerturbadoMX. We also want to make sure everybody knows to follow Rodrigo Alvarez Flores and his future projects on Instagram at Cine al Norte. And we also have Patricia Montoya y Cuando la Rumorosa Calla on Facebook. There's the link there for that. Let's see where else. You guys got a lot of shout outs. Follow Alexis Duran and his future projects in his website, alexisduran.me. Alexis, I think that, just my apologies, but I think I have you peripherally as a Facebook friend, but I wasn't familiar with your work here in San Diego. What are some of your other projects that we may not have heard about, or that are coming up for you? What should we know about Alexis Duran Filmmaker?
Back in March, I started filming another short film, and I filmed on the 14th, 15th in the middle of this pandemic, so that had to come to a halt. I was able to film one additional day in June or July. And this story kind of expands a bit on By Luna, because I had a restraint. I had to make a 5-minute short film or under. But this one talks about step parenting, showing some of the positive aspects and the negative aspects of being a step parent, as far as the psychology and the mindset, from a male's perspective in this particular story, but also from the young daughter's perspective. So that's what I'm working on, and I have one scene left to film, and I'm hoping to film that in the next couple of weeks. So, and going to your first question, during this pandemic, I've been editing that short film.
So you've been staying busy with new and old projects. I've been trying to knock out old projects myself. And then Marlon, let's make sure that everybody knows that you can follow Marlon and his future work on facebook.com/producciones contra azul. Marlon, will you ever
Contraluz.
Sorry. We'll leave that up there. Pero for you, does the feel, look, aesthetic of the film come ahead of the character for you at times, or is it like a struggle for you? Which one you want to accentuate in your projects? Do you like to switch back and forth between what you focus on? Tell me a little bit about like your thought process there.
Yeah, well, it used to be like the aesthetic was the thing that excited me the most, but right now is the story and the themes of it. So in Blood and Rain, Cortando Sangre, voy a hablar en español. Lo primero que nos emocionó fue la estética, ¿no? Primero que nada. Después se nos ocurrió la idea de movernos por un rubro un poco más como de problemas emocionales del personaje principal y explorar ese lado. Y más que nada fue como de tener un proyecto en el que toda la moral estuviera mal. Fue lo que nos emocionó al inicio. Todos piensan de una manera ilógica totalmente. Y eso es lo que yo quería ver en pantalla, y por eso nos dedicamos a eso. Así que te estoy diciendo que prácticamente nos emocionó la estética, pero la estética solo es como el inicio para poder saltar en cosas que son después más emocionantes y los que más nos dan remuneraciones realmente.
¿Crees que si, por ejemplo, tú haces esta película 2 años antes o 2 años después, va a cambiar el enfoque? o crees que la historia quedaría más o menos igual?
Pues sí, realmente, o sea, todos podemos estar realmente orgullosos de nuestros proyectos, pero creo que en algún sentido, una vez que los vemos en retrospectiva, sabemos que pues hay cosas que cambiaríamos. No creo que nadie haga el mismo proyecto 2 veces en el mismo año, 2 años después. O no sé si estoy hablando por mí, pero yo lo haría totalmente distinto, y no porque crea que tiene algo malo, realmente solo porque las cosas que me emocionan ahorita son muy distintas a las que me emocionaron en ese tiempo.
Y siendo written by, directed by, o sea, ya estás tomando bastantes papeles. ¿Qué tan involucrado eres en el proceso de editar? ¿O tú tienes alguien en que confías después de terminar un proyecto en que puedes confiar en otra persona a tomar tu visión y editarla, algo que te guste a ti?
Sí, pues yo trabajo estrechamente con mi DP Bianca Arbizu, que también es mi pareja, así que como nos la vivimos juntos, realmente estamos trabajando constantemente en la visión del proyecto y cómo llevar la pantalla de la mejor manera posible, ¿no? Con este proyecto nos la pasábamos en cafés, realmente todos los días estuvimos en cafés todas las noches y pues, trabajándole, ¿no? Hasta bloqueando las escenas con los actores y todo eso en un café, todo incómodo, pero pues en ese tiempo no había dónde movernos, ¿no? Y ya después entran los otros departamentos en los que pues yo creo ahorita que todos los departamentos de alguna manera no hacen la visión del director, sino la fomentan de alguna manera, ¿no? Es como algo muy importante en el que todos van agregando esas partes, así que si tienes a alguien en un crew, es porque confías en su visión, en sus visiones particulares también. Es algo que me interesa bastante y es algo que intento implementar en cada proyecto, pero sí, tal vez sí son muchos créditos, ¿no? Escribir, dirigir y lo que sea, como tú dices, pero pues es algo que seguiré haciendo.
No, yo también, yo la primera vez que pude poner written and directed by al final de los opening credits, the first time that I was able to put written and directed by on a movie felt like an achievement, like something I've been working for, because previously that I would only make films that were written by my writing partner, my friend. So it has something to do with the ego of a filmmaker, but also in being proud of your,
también.
sí, proud of work. When was the? Let me ask this to you guys as an open question. But we'll start with Patricia. When did you feel that filmmaking was something that you needed to pursue? This is a question I ask filmmakers a lot of the times. Is, I find that I had ideas of movie scenes, tenía ideas de películas, de escenas de películas en mi cabeza desde que era chico, que like scenes that I always knew I wanted to tell that story. I wanted to see that on screen. Is that something that you guys can relate to, or did you come into being passionate of film later on? When did you sort of start feeling like a filmmaker, Patricia?
Como decimos en mi pueblo, me corchaste. No esperaba esa pregunta. Pues toda la vida quise contar historias, o sea, sí, las actuaba, las imaginaba, pues desde muy chiquita, ¿no? Siempre. Pero la cuestión del cine vino porque quería escribir y quería tomar fotos, ¿no? Entonces encontré que el cine o el video en realidad es la manera de hacer las dos, de escribir y de actuar pues tus historias en la cabeza y de fotografiarla, ¿no? Y sí, yo creo pues que ahí viene, como que encontré muy joven, no sé, bueno, no tanto, como a los 20, no sé cuántos años, que descubrí, o sea, yo empecé como fotógrafa, tomaba mucha foto por ahí en Nueva York cuando vivía allá, pero me incomodaba mucho tomarle la foto a la gente en los parques que no supieran, o sea, esa vida de fotógrafa como que no me entró. Entonces me empecé a imaginar las historias de la gente que yo quería fotografiar y ahí empezaron las historias. Entonces dije, no, pues dejemos la gente que iba tranquila en su parquecito, yo me la voy a inventar.
I need a controlled set donde controlo a todo, ¿verdad?
Sí, exactamente, que yo aquí los caso, los separo, los muevo, yo hago lo que yo quiera con ellos. Pero sí, empezó que la fotografía e imaginarme pues esos escenarios.
Kevin, what about for you? I know you said that you made this project not necessarily as a passion project, but that you still sort of felt that your strengths are as a director. What do you think those strengths are? Because I always give the example that I worked as a call center manager for 10 years, managing and training people every day. And I wasn't making a movie, but when I started making movies, I realized that learning how to deal with different types of people and personality types was preparing me for being a better director. What do you feel that like you said, other than being able to visualize somebody else's story, what is it that attracts you to being a director and pushing yourself towards that goal?
Well, it is telling stories for sure. Like I do want to do that. I still want to keep pursuing that, and I've been wanting to do it since I graduated high school. I was like really getting into artsy kind of movies at the time. So like the 3 movies that made me want to direct were Audition, Talk to Her, and Harold and Maude. So when I saw those 3,
Audition
I was like,
Audition is a great
I
date
mean?
movie,
And
by the way. Anybody doesn't watch that, very
yeah.
very good romantic. So that's
Yeah.
where it started.
But yeah, and I mean, other than being a good visualist, I feel like I just kind of get the structure. Like the writing aspect is hard in and of itself, but I feel like I understand the structure of movies and stories, and I'm also really good at putting music and visuals together. Like music really inspires me, so I'll hear songs and I'll come up with scenes that like, okay, I already have the soundtracks all set. I just need the story, basically. I have like imaginary soundtracks on my Spotify for movies that
You just need that
I
music
have coming
budget.
up. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, $1 million music budget. But other than that, I think I'm good at casting. Like, I can just read people very well. Like, I can just, meet someone for 10 seconds and I know that that's the right person for a role. And, like Truffaut said, 90% of directing is
Insta casting.
So,
that's a good one.
yeah.
All right, catching up on some other comments here. We got another one here. Saludos a todos. ¿Cuándo nos aventamos otro corto, Diego Hernández?
Cuando quiera, me estoy promoviendo como actor por si. Cuando quiera.
Todo el mundo dice lo que yo de verdad quiero hacer es dirigir y tú dices lo que quieres hacer es ser actor, ¿verdad?
No, pues sí es director, pero también me interesa mucho la cuestión de actuar. En las veces que he actuado siempre he actuado en 3 ocasiones y las 3 ocasiones ha sido bajo mi propia dirección, entonces me interesa ser
Diego, ¿a
dirigido.
ti te aburriría hacer una película lineal con un master y 2 close-ups y hacer algo así? ¿Eso te aburriría o tú crees que puedes encontrar una manera creativa de hacer algo así también?
No sé. Hasta ahorita no he encontrado en esa forma como algo que me interese, pero no lo descarto, ¿no? Porque también podría decir ahorita como no me gusta nada y en un par de años voy a hacer algo así, ¿no? Pero hasta el momento la mayoría de las cosas que he hecho también posteriores a Vicario han sido con la misma forma, ¿no? Un plano por escena y pues como en Vicario promedia un corte cada 2 minutos, me gusta también como que se sienta el tiempo, cómo pasa en un solo plano, ¿no? En una sola toma.
Tenemos otro comentario aquí de Darcy Costa Campbell. Saludos, yo estoy incursionando en el cine después de ser diseñadora de calzado, maestra de mis 46 años. Me encanta escucharlos. Tenga ya terminados 2 documentales y estoy por filmar mi guión de película. Ok, felicitaciones. Definitivamente submit those to the San Diego Latino Film Festival so that next year we can be talking to you. Erin, for you, what was the there's another question I like to ask filmmakers when I meet them is, what was the first movie that you obsessed over growing up or that you watched over and over?
Ooh. I mean, My guilty pleasure movie as a child was Pirates of the Caribbean 3, which I feel like is
Not one, not two, not
the answer
four.
you were
3.
expecting.
The third one.
It's the third one.
When they got the mix right, they got
but first,
the combination of pirate story and theme park ride.
The cinematography in that film is amazing. Okay, it holds up. But the first film that I really watched and was like, wow, I want to pursue filmmaking. This is amazing. Was Taxi Driver. And that was a film that I watched my senior year of high school, and it kind of inspired me to just keep this passion
Taxi
and pursue
Driver.
it.
That's a hardcore one. Even maybe
I
some
know it
Mean
is.
Streets, but Taxi Driver. That's intense. And then Marlon, what about you? I mean, I know you said you were watching a lot of a lot of Japanese, like Seven Samurai, like some Takashi Miike stuff. What is it that what inspires you now in film? What's the filmmaker right now who, if you hear that there's a movie that you didn't know about that's opening tomorrow, that you would be more excited to see?
¿Te refieres moderno?
Sí, moderno. Si mañana te das cuenta que hay una película que va a salir que no te habías dado cuenta. Oh, you didn't know that this guy had or this girl had a movie coming out?
Uy, ahorita me encanta bastante Paolo Sorrentino, un director italiano. Es alguien que estoy siguiendo lo más que puedo y tiene unas cuantas series ahorita, de Young Pope, New Pope se llama. Es alguien que tengo como, que me gusta bastante, estoy siguiendo, pero fuera de eso, fíjate, ahorita no sé si es algo que sucede también con los demás, pero difícilmente me emociona el cine moderno, y no como de que esté mal, solamente ahorita no siento que sea mi cosa en este momento, realmente.
Cuando tú te dedicas a de pronto a estudiar, te gusta una película japonesa de los años 50 o algo, te gusta una película italiana, ¿dónde empiezas? ¿Empiezas a buscar más películas de esa era o empiezas a buscar más películas del mismo director?
Ambas, es estar como en IMDb mucho tiempo, más del que me gustaría admitir, así que solo es buscar personas realmente, pero no sé, consume mucho tiempo, a veces solo estar buscando personas que te gustaría ver, el cine, y al final, o sea, en esta temporada de cuarentena he estado tratando de cachar como varias películas que no he podido ver en otros años,
sí.
pero es mucho tiempo. Ahorita tenemos el tiempo, ¿no? Pero a la vez son como 4 horas al día, si depende de qué tantas películas veas también, ¿no? Pero ya esos son gustos personales como tal.
Okay. ¿Qué piensan, or what do you guys think about symbolism or themes in movies where it's sort of it's a movie that's showing, and I'll ask Marlon this because you just mentioned like Italian cinema, but or like European cinema more, but like a film like Salo or like 120 Days, it's a film that at some level is supposed to be about a very specific political movement, but if you're describing it to your friend, it's basically literally about a bunch of people eating shit, Do you guys enjoy those types of very like dark? I mean, just based on your aesthetic, I would say that I would know the answer, but do you enjoy those more than the more traditional layouts or presentations, I would say?
Pues sería erróneo de nuestra parte ahorita como gente que es cineasta o gente que está intentando ser cineasta negarnos a propuestas. O sea, realmente hemos encontrado películas tan oscuras o le llaman joyas, ¿no? Solamente películas que no son muy conocidas o de culto. Y tal vez una voz tan particular que es muy interesante solo tenerla ahí nada más. Es algo raro ahorita, pero hay muchas películas todavía que están dispuestas como a ser como encontradas y en cuanto las vemos, sabemos que es una voz que no habíamos tenido y puede emocionarnos bastante. Pero por eso creo que no es necesario no cerrarnos a ninguna propuesta, como el problema que está sucediendo ahorita con la película de Netflix, la de Cuties, que gente se está cerrando a verla, pero pues son propuestas, no veo por qué cerrarnos sin antes verlas, ¿no?
Sí, formar su propia opinión. Rodrigo, ya que has tenido conexión, ¿cómo te oyes ahora, amigo? ¿Nos escuchas bien? ¿No te escuchamos? Rodrigo, going once, going twice. Rodrigo Alvarez.
Bien.
Hablaste un poquito de tu película.
Bueno.
Sí, aquí estás. ¿Me escuchas? Okay, he's like on a big delay.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Yeah, there's a big delay for him. Fernando, I ask this question a lot to filmmakers that have a couple of films under their belt, and my question to you is, if you could go back to yourself on day one, shot one of your first movie that you were ever going to make, and you could pull yourself aside, what advice would you give yourself as a young filmmaker after what you've learned so far?
Oh wow. Basically, gather around talented persons. At the beginning, as an indie filmmaker, you're the one that's making everything. You're the DP. You're the gaffer. You're the makeup artist. You're everything. But as the years pass and as your work progresses, you find out other person's talents and the same passion that you have with film. So I would suggest that I would gather around people that are super talented and that they have the same passion as you.
Anybody else want to answer that question?
Actually, Luis.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
I actually wanted to go back to the previous question.
Go ahead.
Y esta la voy a decir en español. Lo de la película, ¿no? De qué película clásica o del tiempo pasado pudiéramos habernos inspirado. Bueno, pues creo que sea un poco notable en mi propuesta, en mi entrega de Volveré. Obviamente Vicario, de Roberto Gabaldón, que por cierto fue el primer cineasta mexicano que ganó un Oscar. Y por supuesto, pues también elementos del cine de la época de oro del cine nacional. Obviamente tenemos en nuestro cortometraje un mariachi. Es como que decir cómo regresamos del más allá los mexicanos entre tequila y mariachi cantando y todo eso, ¿no? Entonces es un poco como rescatar la película, el cinema de la época de oro del cine nacional, pero también incorporando elementos, por ejemplo, del cinema de horror clásico, ¿no? Un poco de Tim Burton, Sleepy Hollow, cuestiones así que a lo mejor pudieron ver en la propuesta que tenemos como elementos muy góticos, obviamente entrando a una cripta, flores, cruces por aquí y por allá. Y hablando un poco también de lo nuevo que ha pasado, que me ha gustado ver y que me ha impactado de alguna forma, me ha inspirado, se llama The Witch, la bruja, de Robert Eggers. Un éxito, me encanta porque es una película súper de hace como 3-4 siglos, súper obviamente de época, pero contando una historia que tiene que ver con el folktale, las leyendas de, en este caso, la Nueva Inglaterra. Pues yo también, aprovechando la riqueza de tradición narrativa, storytelling, de México y de todos nuestros países latinoamericanos, pues decidí buscarle por ahí y encontré con esta leyenda que les comento. Pero sí, inspirado mucho por los clásicos, los grandes clásicos del cine de horror y obviamente también la época de oro del cine nacional.
Listo, muy buena pregunta, muy buena respuesta. Ok, tenemos un comentario aquí de Alex Guzmán, mucho éxito. I love it. Avisa si necesitas ayuda. Amanda Jiménez es fantástica. Alone Together. Felicidades, Erin Martinez. I think, we got the president, the #1 fan, and we got another person that loves your movie. And then Darcy from us commenting says, muchas gracias. Okay, thank you for watching. Keep making movies. Everybody keep making movies. The same question to you, Alexis, about what you would tell yourself as a young director on day one, shot one of your first film, after what you've learned after being a grizzled, chiseled veteran of the film world now. What would you tell your younger filmmaker self?
I think just to be a bit more present and listen to my talent. I think and I do recall I was filming in Pearl Beach with my two best friends, and I think you're so all over the place. As Fernando said, you're doing the lighting, camera, trying to get all your shots. And I think if I would have just kind of relaxed a bit more and been a bit more present and listened to my friends, I know it's difficult working with your friends and not actors, but I think you could achieve something a bit more if you do speak with them and listen. So that.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to try to go back to Rodrigo. He's turned his camera off so that he doesn't lag. Rodrigo, can you hear me? Rodrigo, are you there? I'm sorry, Rodrigo. We tried a couple of different times, man. We'll try. You know what? If not, if anything, I do my own podcast, my own stream, so I would gladly interview you at length, and we can talk about movie making in your movie. Rodrigo's film, At the End of the Night, I thought was one of incredibly interesting film. Let me ask you this, guys. Let me go down the line. Did you guys all partake in the virtual screening? Just tell me yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys all right. Let's start with Diego. Besides your movie, which of the films that you saw from the other filmmakers, después de tu película, ¿qué película de los cineastas que están aquí te afectó más cuando la viste hoy en parte de los screening?
Pues yo creo que en todas hubo, obviamente, cosas que me interesaron y que si bien no es precisamente las cosas que yo hago, encuentro cosas como espectador que me parecen interesantes, ¿no? Pero pues yo creo que particularmente el trabajo de Rodrigo fue el que es que también ya había visto su corto anterior y fue interesante ver como el proceso que hubo o el cambio que hubo del corto anterior a entonces yo creo que fue el trabajo de Rodrigo en ese sentido.
Patricia, la misma pregunta para ti.
Estaba sufriendo. Uy, yo soy las que sigo, que soy la que sigo. Ahorita lo que quiero hacer es volverlas a ver. O sea, recuerdo, pero no es la de la niña en el supermercado que tiene pues este encuentro.
¿Hay Luna?
Exacto, esa me gustó mucho y sobre todo la actuación y pues como que la que más recuerdo. El terror, la película esta del terror, sí creo que es con la máscara así del diablo que aparece, esa yo creo que
Marlon.
Esa es la tuya, sí, esa es muy fuerte y cuando la explicas, cuando decís que como cuando la moralidad se desbarata, ¿no? Que todo el mundo es malo, eso me encantó. O sea, no, cuando la estaba viendo no vi eso, o sea, me horrorizó. Y lo que decís también que cuando pues empieza uno a hacer la película por la estética, ¿no? Y que como que pues lo que queremos es hacer cine que es formal, ¿no? Pero que a la medida fuiste entrando en esa idea de la moralidad de la gente, ese proceso, precisamente por eso estos foros son tan chéveres, porque agarra uno cosas que no vio cuando vio la película, ¿no? Entonces, poderlas ver de nuevo con más atención, sí quería como hacerlo muy a la carrera. Esto de binge watch en un festival, no va.
No, hay que tomar el tiempo, tomarse un cafecito, go outside to the tent, have a free Stella Areolas that, at the act, Eso, that's something that you guys missed out on, the Sabor Latino, the part of the festival, the being treated as an artist. It's obviously a rough time for everybody. Fernando, what about you? Which of the other films did it affected you, or did you find most intriguing during this from the showcase?
No, a mí todos me gustaron, todos los cortometrajes estuvieron súper suaves. All of them were pretty good. Me gustó mucho de Marlon también, estuvo muy bueno, Cortando Sangre. De Alex estuvo muy sentimental, muy bueno también. Alone Together, I liked it too, estuvo muy suave. The acting of that movie was pretty good. The awesomeness of how you cut the scenes and put them in one. Alexis, I love his film too. Also, Patricia. I mean, everybody had very, very nice films, and I enjoyed them a lot. So me gustaron todos.
Okay, Fernando with the very political answer. Okay, Erin.
Yeah, but diplomatic.
Right? This is not his first film festival, so that's what you get from experience. How about Erin? Yeah, obviously your film very slick, very it feels like a really well paced story. It doesn't drag. You don't there's a lot of efficiency in the storytelling. And with very little dialogue, with almost no dialogue, because the only dialogue you have is either at the beginning or the end. But I appreciated your film from what I saw a great deal. It looked like a very advanced and very professional work from my FYI. But which film did you like? I mean, which film affected you?
Unfortunately, I was not able to watch. I got off of work right at 8, so I wasn't able to watch.
Okay.
I will be checking out everybody's links, definitely, because I'd love to see everybody's films. So thank you so much.
All right, Marlon. A couple of people mentioned that they really liked your film. What did you enjoy from the showcase?
Es que me gustaría ser recíproco, pero realmente no puedo, no fue como geoblocked, me bloquearon como porque vivo en Tijuana, así que no pude ver ninguno, así que siéntanse libres de pasarme el link todos, por favor. Solo había visto el de Rodrigo realmente, y es un trabajo que también impacta socialmente y se me hizo interesante, lo vi ya también el año pasado, así que es uno de los que ya había visto, pero los demás no.
Está bien. Y Alex,
Sí, definitivamente me encantaron todos los cortometrajes, tuvieron una propuesta muy interesante, me gustaron a todos, los disfruté y me aportaron bastante también. El film de Fernando ya lo había visto, sí me atrapó, obviamente también reconocí a algunos artistas de aquí locales, me encantó verlo. Puedo decir que también el film de Patricia, el de cuando calla la rumorosa, me tocó mucho porque mi novia vive en Mexicali y bueno, hace poco me llevó de hecho ahí a la rumorosa y sobre todo el tema, ¿no? que toca, lo cual está obviamente, desgraciadamente es un tema que muy delicado, muy presente desgraciadamente en México y en muchas partes del mundo. Por eso se me hace muy importante que haya trabajado, que haya retratado eso y se me hace una aportación muy importante. Obviamente me encantó la propuesta de todos y pues muy feliz de haber estado aquí en mi debut como director. Al lado de todos ustedes.
Tu primera vez, Alex.
My first time.
Wow.
Es my directorial debut y soy maestro de escritura aquí en San Diego, que un buen día decidí llevar una de mis historias que escribí a la pantalla y muy feliz y muy afortunado y un honor estar con todos ustedes.
Okay. Alexis and Kevin. Alexis first. What about you? Let me know what you thought about the rest of the films from today.
Yeah, so I did get a chance to see all of them, and in fact, I took notes on everyone.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay.
Wow, he's a teacher.
This will count against the curve.
No, I think it depends the timing of this. And I think it was just nice seeing Vicario, Diego's film, because it reminded me a lot of other films that I've been revisiting. A film from Iran called Salam Cinema by Mohsen Makhbahov. And then also Kiarostami, it's a film called 10. And then I saw a little bit of Vitumar también in there, the relationship, and even one of the shots technically from Children of Men. So there's this nice blend of Iranian cinema that I love, and then Cuarón. But I think just where I'm at personally, the things that I've been going through, it was nice to immerse myself in that kind of story, that kind of construction and pace. So I think it was just a good timing, and so I really enjoyed that film.
That was a deep analysis there from Alexis, bringing in that encyclopedia film knowledge right there, man. Yeah, very nice. You went from Iranian cine to Children of Men. That's a lot. That's a wide range of influences there.
Quite a journey.
Kevin, what about you? Did you get a chance to watch everybody's film, and what did you think? What stood out to you?
No, unfortunately, I haven't been able to see anyone else's films, but I'll try to check them out now after this Q&A.
Right. Well, Kevin, your film your film to me came off as a very quintessential San Diego indie production. Obviously, it was obviously it's a very simple adaptation, an interesting story, a day in the life type. I mean, like just a moment in somebody's life. Very relevant. You had great performances there, and I think you did a lot with a little. Because obviously you can tell it's not a super expensive production, but it is told in a very succinct way, stylistically. Obviously, I recognize a lot of the places you guys filmed that are like in every San Diego short film. But I think you did an incredible job of being a part of that and putting that together. So I did not see that message you sent, so I mistakenly asked you that question. So I apologize, but I do think that I also liked your film. I liked everybody's film, and I'm really like I said, it's a showcase that's near and dear to my heart because it's one that I was in a few years ago, and it brought about me being accepted into my hometown festival. But I wanted to get. I'm glad I got this chance to talk to you guys. Let me make sure we're caught up on all the comments here, and then we'll do maybe one more round of questions, and then we'll get out of you guys' way. Let's see. Elva Buck says, "Yay! All right, thank you. Thank you for watching." Doris says, "Saludos, Alexis Duran, mi maestro." All right. Let's go, Alexis. Laura Guerrero says, felicidades a todos, suerte, muy interesante la entrevista. Muchas gracias. All right. And then Rodrigo Alvarez actually moved to the chat from being with us here. Now he's just commenting via chat where he can hear us and see us. Rodrigo, I am sorry that not the chat, that your connection was bad. But like I said, I interview filmmakers all the time. So I will make it a point. Reach out to me. We'll talk in depth about your film at some point on a future fireside chat. And then another saludos a todos realizadores. SDLFF es un gran espacio para mostrar el talento local. Es un gran semillero. That is true. And then we have another one from I've admired the work of my colleagues Fernando, Diego, and Marlon. Great storytellers. I'm looking forward to everyone's work. Viva la frontera. Exactamente, man. The comments just keep pouring in here. ¿Cómo podemos ver todas las películas? Okay, let me go. I have to go back and show you guys his links here in a second. I'll do that at the end of the interview. Let me just ask real quickly for one last question for you guys. Diego, tu película obviamente separa de todo el resto del estilo, como dijimos. ¿Cómo se llama? Alexis vio muchos estilos adentro de esa película. Yo te dije que parecía como me recordaba a las películas Mumblecore que veía y de nuestras películas de nosotros. ¿Cómo ves tú el estado del cine ahora? ¿Crees que vale la pena para personas que se meten a tomar historias? ¿Lo ves muy saturado con el mismo tipo de estilo? O viendo todas las clases de películas diversas que han visto hoy y todo algo como te hace pensar que sí, que hay un futuro en el cine latino, en el cine hispano, etc.
Sí, pues creo que precisamente este ejercicio de selección de cortos locales demuestra que hay una gran diversidad incluso a una pequeña escala. Yo veo todos los cortos y pensándolo mucho puedo encontrar similitudes entre todos porque realmente todos tienen, digamos, formas distintas o acercamientos distintos al cine. Entonces, yo creo que también, pues precisamente estos festivales de cine son una gran oportunidad para poder ver diferentes propuestas de directores latinoamericanos contemporáneos que muchas veces no podemos acceder a ellos mediante otras vías.
Está bien, está bien. Y Patricia, ¿cuál sería tu dream project, tu proyecto en sueño, la historia que tú estás más interesada en contar en el futuro? Si tuvieras todo el tiempo, todos los recursos necesarios, all the money, all the budget, what would be your dream project?
Bueno, pues creo que de este corto se pueden contar varias historias, entonces estoy trabajando en eso un poco. Tengo un documental también ahí pensado, que estoy precisamente ahorita pues escribiendo propuestas y buscando dinero para eso. Tengo una historia que la tengo ahí como una hormiga en la cabeza, que es así también, si tuviera todo el dinero, todo el apoyo ya mismo, la haría ya. Es pues una historia en Colombia. Lo que pasa es que no quiero contar historias tan tristes, o sea, esta cuestión del cine oscuro es algo como que tampoco no tengo el humor para una comedia, pero este cine tan oscuro, yo no sé. Entonces creo que lo que me tiene un poco ahí como dando vueltas en la cabeza es cómo encontrar luz en la oscuridad en las historias que quiero contar.
Está bien.
Estoy estancada ahí en la cosa esa del guayabo, de la borrachera, del dolor, ¿no?
Pues, porque, es decir, there's violence and there's stories that are rugged and they're strong and they have a lot of realistic elements that deal with the Latino culture. Like I talked to Fernando, there's a lot of stories that are told about Mexican culture. There's 800 different shows or movies about Pablo Escobar. There's a bunch of shows about the cartel and stuff like that. And I think I talked with Fernando about this, where I thought that the countries and the places in South America that deal with a lot of this real life violence are some of the beds where a lot of these very interesting, unique horror films are being made in Mexico, Brazil, Colombia. Fernando, specifically, me and you talked about this. Perturbado, which is a film I've already seen several times from before we talked about. Stylistic, slick, fast-paced, colorful, an incredible color palette that you chose for it. Made right here locally in Tijuana. You've been to multiple festivals. How do you see, as your status grows, your role as an emerging horror filmmaker? How do you feel about that process? How do you feel about how you've changed?
Well, I feel like I'm still growing on my own genre. I'm still trying to find my genre, but my genre, I love horror and I love drama, so I'm trying to mix both of them together. And I find myself still in the growing stage. I still have some stuff that I need to tweak here and there, especially in my dialogue, I guess. But my direction with the actors, I guess it's getting better, better, and better. My dialogue with my DP is getting better and better and better. So that's one of the growing things that I've seen in myself, that I'm visually capturing a lot of people's eyes, and with my color palette and what my vision is all about. So I guess on that side, that's where I'm going, with the direction of good people, of good actors, and directing them well. This past film festival, which was Horrible Imagining Film Festival, I had my actor Chinchillas. We got nominated for best actor of the short film, and also for best homegrown horror film. And in the past, another project that I had at Amor No Existe, I got Pedro Rodman, another actor from Tijuana. He won best supporting actor in London. So I guess I'm doing a good job in
You're getting out there. You're getting out there.
And directing these people, because they are getting awards and they are getting noticed also as actors from Tijuana. So that's basically one of my main things, is getting the name of Tijuana and the Frontera here, San Diego, also to the world, that we have a lot of stuff to say and a lot of stuff to show. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent. I'm looking at all of it right here. A lot of talent right there, all you guys, very talented.
Thank you.
And Fernando, I know that I'm going to be talking to you, so I don't want you to think I was ignoring you, but me and you talk all the time, so I wanted to, that's fine. Erin, what's next for you? Like, have you been sort of thinking about your next project during this time? Are you kind of just trying to do this festival run? What can you expect from you in the near future as a filmmaker?
So I'm working on a couple pilots right now. That's what I've been doing over quarantine. Unfortunately, I did have plans to move up to LA in August, but have halted those plans because of everything going on. But eventually that will happen. So that's in the pipeline right now. Pilots, maybe a feature, maybe more.
All right, let's say they gave you
about it all.
A budget for like an ultra low budget indie. They're giving you like a $3 million budget, right? Or Hulu says we'll give you 2 8-episode seasons of your favorite pilot that you have right now. Maybe like super indie, like $50,000 per episode, and you pay yourself whatever's left over. Which one of those sounds more attractive to you? Really?
I'd probably say the Hulu deal, just because working in television is kind of like actually my dream. I'd love to write for television one day, even though I do love filmmaking, making shorts, but I'd probably take the Hulu deal.
Just being able to say I got 8 episodes on Hulu is better than saying I made an ultra low budget, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to watch probably for most people.
Okay.
But you never know. I don't know. That's a hard one. That's tricky.
Marlon, have you found your next project yet? How do you sort of get to that process when you're ready to let one film maybe go that you've been promoting or working on, to kind of being ready to start the process of basically falling in love with your next subject or your next idea?
Pues es extraño porque hace 2 años hice Cortando Sangre y ahorita todavía está dándome frutos, así que la vida de los cortometrajes puede llegar a ser larga de alguna manera.
Sí.
También tengo otro proyecto que hice después de Cortando Sangre que se llama Horas de Expreso, que es algo que también estamos moviendo en este momento en festivales. Y estamos intentando levantar un video, bueno, hicimos un video musical en cuarentena también este año, pero queremos hacer un cortometraje ya formal, pero también en cuarentena, usando nada más como pues, cada quien en su casa y contar una historia de esa manera y usarlo de manera narrativa. Pero es difícil porque pues, es lidiar con cosas que normalmente lidias físicamente y ahorita lo haces de manera por teléfono o internet y ahí la gente puede desaparecer rápidamente, pero no es el problema nada más es levantarlo ahorita. Y es un formato nuevo que tenemos que acostumbrarnos porque no sabemos realmente cuánto va a durar esta pandemia. Y pues si queremos seguir haciendo proyectos, o sea, pues va a tener que ser con formatos nuevos y experimentar con lo que tenemos en la mano.
Hay que reimaginar lo que es el cine. I tell everybody that, the reason that I started my own streams and podcasts and creating content for YouTube, because I couldn't see myself realistically being on a movie set anytime soon to the level that I want to be, without having to jump through a lot of these extra hoops. Alexis, you've been shooting some stuff, but it's on a lower sort of smaller. I'm assuming that it's on like a smaller scale, small crew, or have you been like full on, putting entire crews together for your projects?
Yeah, for this recent one, I mean, I've never worked with a big crew. It's always, 7 people, 5, 6 people. And on this last shoot back in March and in July, myself, DP, first AC, gaffer, PA, and that's it. And it's nice. I think it served the purpose of the story. The intimacy is one of them. But I think it depends on the scale of the project, obviously. But so far, it's been nice working with small crews, 5 to 7 people, roughly. Yeah. Did that answer your question? Is that what you had asked?
No. I just wanted to know, like, how you guys feel about just, is there a time when we're going to get back to like normal filmmaking? Do you think, Kevin, I mean, locally, I know I see and you see people post casting notices for like number one, they're trying to make a movie and they're an independent filmmaker where they're probably going to feed you Little Caesars pizza or something and not have a lot of protective stuff on set. But people are still sort of jumping over themselves. I'll go on set. Do you think that's kind of like a little weird, Kevin, that people are so blasé about making movies during this time frame?
I'm not that surprised in a way. I mean, I think
People are hungry
in general aren't taking it that serious. I mean, but if it's, something they love to do, they'll probably just run out and go do it, If like some band I really wanted to see was going to do a show, I probably would go because that's something I would be really into. So, I mean, that's, I guess, how some actors or crew people are reacting to film gigs,
I just think that there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about. So I think everybody just needs to like take a step back, relax, finish up the projects that you have on your editing queue that are clogging up your editing queue. Get those out of the way. Do something creative at home. I talked to some filmmakers out of Q&A before this. I don't know if you guys saw it, but if you guys still have access to your festival passes, watch Días de Luz. It is a film shot in 6 different countries with 6 different film crews that would argue together over Skype constantly. So I don't know how they got it done because it's the definition of too many cooks, but the stew that they made at the end came out like just right. Una tremenda película, Días de Luz. So collaboration, finishing things that you have on your plate, writing, creating content, writing pilots, writing spec scripts. There's a ton of stuff that filmmakers should be doing to keep themselves occupied that don't involve getting a large group of people together in a tight
computer.
What's up? Upgrading your computer, all that good stuff. Buying film equipment that you don't need. All right, let me catch up on any of the last questions because we didn't have it. Number one president of your fan club, Erin, said to follow Erin and her future projects on her website, ErinMartinezFilms.com. Thank you very much, Erin, for being a part of this. Arturo Santos, saludos a todos. Okay, well, that's from earlier before. Sorry. Let me make sure I'm caught up on all the other ones. Here we have Ánimo sin miedo al éxito from Enrique. Thank you, Enrique, for watching. Felicidades a todos. Thank you very much. You guys are so talented and your work is right. All right, we're caught up. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you to all the filmmakers. Sorry, Rodrigo, that you got cut off. I want to make sure that there's an email thread, so I want to make sure that I connect with all of you guys because if you are a filmmaker in the Frontera Filmmakers Showcase, then I consider you guys all part of the alumni group. It's a secret group. We can't have barbecues right now because, of COVID, but we've got a really cool chat going where we share memes all day. No, just kidding. But I do want to make sure that one of the reasons I do this is to be able to connect with filmmakers. Erin, Alexis, I didn't even know that you guys were in my hemisphere as far as filmmakers in San Diego, even though I think I'm already connected with Alexis somewhere. So obviously I'd love to connect with you guys. Diego, like I said, tu película tremenda, brave, experimental, rara. Many successes for you in the future. I would love to talk to you about filmmaking at length at some time. Marlon, a tremendous aesthetic, a tremendous brave film as well. I love black and white movies. If you look at all of our movies, we have like a shit ton that are in black and white. So right there, you got me from the best. Alex, good luck on your filmmaking journey, especially if this is your first film. The same for Kevin, man. If directing is what you feel you're best at, then go out and make that project. Patricia, un abrazo de un país a otro. Saludos. Fernando, de un hermano a otro. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. Thank you for being part of the festival. And thank you, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure that if you haven't already, go watch more movies. Go watch their movies. Read back and go through all the links that I put on there. And support Latino films. Support the San Diego Latino Film Festival. Everybody have a drink. We made it. We went an hour and 3 minutes.
Bye.
They said I could only do 30 minutes. We did an hour and 43 minutes.
We're breaking the rules.
Ethan's gonna be firing me when he sees the replay, but it's all right.
It was a
All
pleasure.
right, guys. Take it easy. Bye.
Adios.